is up, guys? It's Sippin On Sundays. I have my drink for the Sunday. Hope you guys have yours too. So I'm Nikki, obviously. So last week I just kind of introduced myself like, hey, I'm Nikki, here's 10 things about me, blah, blah, blah. I had one more thing to add to that and I totally forgot, so maybe by the end of this it'll come back to me. But anyways, that's beside the point. We're not talking about me anymore. We've done that, been there. Y'all know who I kind of am now. So this week's topic is just how to overcome obstacles. And I've tried to break it down into 7 steps, and the reason I chose 7 is because I was going to do 10 and then I was like, no, that's too many. And then I was going to do 5 and I was like, that's not enough. So I went with 7. So anyway, so this is just how I overcome obstacles. I understand that these things happen consistently and constantly and they're frustrating. And I mentioned in one of my previous Instagram posts, like sometimes you'll want to cry, sometimes you'll want to yell, sometimes you'll want to just scream in frustration. Sometimes you're like, why is this happening to me? Other times you're like, maybe I'm insane. Like I've mentally lost it. I feel like that a lot. I'll tell you right now. Like I said, probably one of my things you didn't know about me is I actually cry a lot more than I should. But for me, that's a way that I cope, I guess. I don't know, healthy or not, whatever. So anyways, so here are some of the 7 steps that I've come up with for me, and this is what works for me. So step 1 is just going to be self-awareness. And that is kind of dealing with who are you as a person? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your flaws? Pause. Because those can actually play a big part in it. If one of your flaws is that you're impatient, which is me, then it's going to seem like obstacles are forever coming at you and there's constantly a roadblock and there's constantly something wrong because you're impatient and you want the finished product to just be done overnight, and that's not how this works. So that's one way of being self-aware. Another way is, are you the type of person who plays the victim all the time? Do you sit here and do you think to yourself, why me? Why is this happening to me? It's not fair. And is that where your mindset's at? If it is, it needs to change, because that's going to always be an obstacle in your life. On the contrary to that, are you bossy? Do you need to be in charge of everything? And is the fact that you are so, and bossy, that's a weird term, because I know like you need leadership skills and stuff, but I'm talking about the people who just cannot like take anybody else's advice or cannot, be a follower for a change. So are you bossy? Is that standing in the way of something? Do you constantly like a perfectionist? Do you need it done your way or the highway? And so this is where self-awareness comes in. So that's going to be step 1. Take a deep look inside yourself and see if you are creating these obstacles or if they're uncontrollable obstacles. Step 2 is going to be to use your time wisely. So back to being impatient. If you're impatient, are you at least managing your time wisely? Are you putting, as much effort as you should be? Or are you putting in minimal effort and expecting maximum results? Because that's not going to happen. It's, and if you are impatient, or if you're that type of person, you will learn that through trial and error. And if you don't change it, you're going to forever be frustrated as shit because you're just, you just want it done. And so with using your time wisely, this is where I struggle, and this is something that I'm working on, and this also goes back to self-awareness, is to celebrate your small victories and to track them. I'm the type of person that I'm like, it's not done yet, it's never going to get done, it's not, the way I envisioned it, blah, blah, blah. And because I'm so focused on the negative, I'm not taking into consideration everything that's already been accomplished. And so that's going to be step 2 for overcoming obstacles. Celebrate the small victories. What have you already accomplished? Even if you've only come, a quarter mile in a mile-long race and you still have that 3/4 of a mile to go, you need to look at that quarter mile and see it for what it is, and see it that it is an accomplishment and that you overcame some shit here. So that kind of ties in with use your time wisely, I think. To me, it does. So engage in creativity. That's step 3. So for me, for instance, I always tend to overwhelm my plate. I will have this out and this out and this out and this out, and and they'll all be for 5 different things or 6 different things, and I want them all done right here, right now, complete. It's not going to work that way. While multitasking is great, you need to do it in a creative fashion. So let's say you're a gym goer. Here's what I've recently learned to do. I can't run yet because of my surgery, so I just do the little stationary bike. So anyways, so what I learned to do is instead of listening to music while I'm on that stationary bike and like, you know, I'm enjoying it or whatever, but I'm not multitasking, I'm doing one thing. Instead, I started to watch like some of my coaching videos or some of my inspirational videos, like from the people that inspire me, while I'm on the bike for 45 minutes or however long I decide to do it. And so that way I'm getting both done. I'm getting the knowledge that I need and I'm getting my exercise in. So for you guys, if you're trying to learn another language, for instance, and you're a runner, go on a run and start listening to some stuff in your other language. Listen to music, listen to podcasts, listen to whatever it is, but engage in creativity. So bring your 2 things together or your 3 things together so that you can, going back to using your time wisely, you can maximize your time. So that was step 3. Step 4, understand that there's going to be bad days. While all of this sounds great and like a perfect little fantasy world, like, yeah, I can snap out of it and do whatever the fuck I want, it's not the case all the time. I get that. And you will have days where you are frustrated and you might spend 3 hours focused on that frustration. And this just recently happened to me. I spent like 4 hours upset about something that's out of my control, and yet I couldn't get myself back under control to get done what I needed to get done. But the problem with that is then it's like, so then now the next talk I have to have with myself, so in the midst of my, you know, crying episode, I'm telling myself like, snap out of it, it's not that serious, snap out of it, you got shit to do, let's go. Well, so then that finally finishes and I'm sleepy and I'm tired. So now I'm guilty because I wasted however much time on it that I did. And so this is where you need to understand that bad days are inevitable. Bad days are going to happen. And you need to not feel guilty for having bad days. Just try not to let them happen consistently. So it's like when you're on a diet and you accidentally, you know, eat that bagel or you eat that cookie and you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to let it take over and go spiraling in a whirlwind, you know, down south. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take it for what it is. It was, you know, a mistake, for lack of a better term, and you come back out on top. So that's what I mean by understand that bad days are going to happen. Step 5. Step 5. So break your goals into smaller goals. It's nice to see the big picture, and we all have a big picture, you know, whatever it is for you. For me, it's having this nice, so I'm not going to tell you. No, I will tell you. For me, it's, you know, it's having like this, I love the beach. I want a house overlooking the beach. Like that's kind of the ultimate goal, and I want to work from home. And, you know, for you, it may be something else, and for the next person, it's something else. Now, while that's a great goal, that's not going to happen tomorrow. That's probably not even going to happen next year. So I need to take that and I need to break it down into steps. And that's what you guys should do. You need to take your big goals and break them down into smaller goals, so that you can go back to, like I said, celebrating the small victories while you have all of these small goals. Let's say it takes, you know, 17 small goals to get to your major goal. You get to celebrate this, you know, these 17 steps 17 times, and then it doesn't seem like it's such a long haul because you're setting these goals that are right there in your foreseeable future. So that's step 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. I guess I have more than 7. Where did I get 7? I have 9. Anyways, so think about what's holding you back. And this goes back to the self-awareness. So I guess these two can actually tie together. Is what's holding you back the same thing that's consistently held you back? Do you get overwhelmed and quit? Do you see that the road maybe is too hard, or you start to thinking it's too far-fetched and so you just stop? Is that one of your obstacles? And that kind of goes back to, are you your own obstacle? Are you what stops yourself from being your greatest? We are our biggest critic. And so you could be the only thing in your way, and you won't realize that until you go through a self-awareness process, which is step 1. So become self-aware, and then while you're self-aware, jump into this step and figure out what's holding you back. Are you holding your back? Is a relationship you're in holding you back? Or, you know, is your parents' opinion holding you back? Is your siblings' opinion holding you back? Is your worry for judgment holding you back? There's a lot of different factors that fall into it. Think of everything that you didn't accomplish and go back and be like, well, why didn't I accomplish that? And see if that's what it is, because that could be very well it. Step 7, talk it out or write it out for your obstacles. So I use writing as like a scapegoat or whatever, and I do a lot of writing, and that's how I let things out. And if you've read into my writings, you kind of know like the darker side to me, you know, through my different poems like The Beast and Black Soul and stuff like that, where it was about like addiction or about struggling with anger, or I forget the name of the other one, but one of them was about like falling back into a depression and you just can't escape it and stuff. So that's how I kind of let things go, let my inner demons go, let my inner worries go, is through writing. But sometimes it's nice to talk it out. And a lot of the times I found when you talk it out, you'll end up like answering your own question. So the other day I'm on the phone with my best friend. We've been best friends for, next year will be 20 years. It's been a very long time. And we're just talking about stuff. And something that had been on my mind for a very long time that I never really shared, like just kind of started, like she heard me sniffle and she's like, are you crying? Your allergies didn't kick in. And I'm like, look, bitch, like, no the fuck I'm not. I got allergies. And she's like, you know, shut up. I've known you for a long ass time. Like, what's up? And so like all of a sudden I just like word vomited all this shit to her and broke down. And then she was like, wow, like I had no idea. And I was like, honestly, I had no idea either. Like I just been, you know, keeping it a little, you know, inside of me or whatever. But it felt good afterwards. So find a scapegoat, find a escape route, however they say it. Talk it out, write it out, draw it out, sing it out, whatever it takes, get it out, because it's gonna constantly be an obstacle. Even if it's something that has nothing to do with your path, that you think, well, this has nothing to do with the goals I have in life, but it's something that bothers you, I guarantee you it's making an effect on the goals you have. Because that's what I realized with me. I was like, well, this doesn't really pertain to what I want to do in life. Like, it's a part of it, but it's like a side road, you know, from the main road. But it was actually, you know, taking a bigger toll on me than what I thought it was. So talk it out, write it out, etc., etc. I'll shut up on that. On that note, take a sip, everybody. Drink. I'm drinking Big Wave, by the way. It's a great beer. It's brewed in Hawaii. Kona Brewing Company. It's like a teal bottle. It's really good. When hockey season starts back up, you'll see me with my chum beer in my Raiders glass or my Sharks glass. Something like that. Can't wait. Anyways, that has nothing to do with overcoming obstacles. That's just a little about me. So, the last thing is to visualize your goal. So I mentioned to break it into smaller goals. And while I stand by that, it's very important to always remember the big picture. So the smaller goals is so that you don't feel like you're going on for so long and that it's never ending. But these, the big picture, I mean, that's the ultimate goal. And you'll probably have more than one of them. I can think of 3 off the top of my head that are big pictures that all kind of come together to make a canvas. I need to stop with these metaphors, similes, whatever. But anyways, but that's how I see it. It's all these things, you know, and they come together and they make this giant canvas for me. And so whenever you're in doubt and whenever you're sitting there thinking that you're crazy or thinking that like I'm insane, this is never gonna work, what have I gotten myself into, blah, 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 take a step back and really think of why did you start in the first place? And don't let that idea wash away. Don't brush it off. For instance, me with my fitness goals, every time I get into a fitness goal and I don't want to go to the gym for a consistent amount of time, or I want to eat junk food, which if you watched my last video, you know that I eat, you know, bad. But anyways, and so every time, so I'll let like that ultimate goal body that I have in mind, I'll kind of let that go away, because obviously it doesn't mean enough to me because I would be putting in the work to get there. So find your main goal hold on to your main goal and make sure that it's something that you truly want, not something that you think you want. Because if it's something that you truly want, you're going to find the time, you're going to find the effort, and you're going to put in the work. And all of these obstacles are, you'll end up telling yourself when you're going through these stages of doubt, like, hey, it's going to pass. You know, hey, self, like, this is going to go away. So that's all. Those are my, I can't count, 8 tips, 9 tips, I don't know. Those are my tips on overcoming obstacles. This is Sippin On Sundays. Obviously, we got our drinks, it's Sunday. So anyways, so that's all about overcoming obstacles. We'll talk more next week. We'll have a whole new topic up next week, and I'll either still have this beer or I'll have, you know, some tea, something else. But if you like it, like, share, subscribe, tag anybody who you think could use some help overcoming some obstacles. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.